Hello. Today I will show you some of the more advanced features of EzPerf, as we've had many requests and questions from customers who want to know how to perform certain functions. One of the difficult things to do when measuring perforation is when a stamp is on piece or on cover. EzPerf has many built-in tools to accomplish these tasks easily. You just have to select the correct option in EasyTool to perform this task. I'll show you some of these methods. So let's start with an example of a self-adhesive stamp that's still on backing paper. And here it is. I've loaded it into EzPerf already. Now this particular stamp from Taiwan is difficult to measure, especially with a plastic gauge, as the white perf tips tend to blend in almost seamlessly with the backing paper, making it very difficult to see the perfs and line them up using the plastic gauge. So if you can see, there's where the perf tips are, and it's very difficult to see where it is compared to the backing paper. Now for this video I'll be using the latest edition of EzPerf, EasyImage, Windows Paint 3D, and Windows Paint, but you can use any image editor that you like. The key thing to remember when you're using EzPerf is to scan and set the resolution correctly, and do not enlarge or shrink the image in any way, as this will alter the measurements proportionally to the alterations you make. So just don't do it. So I'll show you how to load an image into Paint, Paint 3D, which comes with Windows 10, and EasyImage, which we prefer to use. Now first, Paint. The first thing we need to do is locate the image, right click on it, and open it. So here's my image. I'm going to right click on it, and then I'm going to select Open With, and I'll choose Paint. And then with Paint you do select, so I'm going to select all. Let's put the marching ants around it, and then I'm going to paste it. So first I'm going to got to copy it first. So Control C to copy it, and then you can switch into EzPerf and then click on the paste from clipboard, and there it is. And EzPerf tries to measure it. Obviously it's going to fail because there are really no perfs on this. Now we can do the same thing with Paint 3D. If you have Windows 10, it's kind of a neat new feature. So if you right click on it, you go to Open With, select Paint 3D, and there it is. So again, you select all, so Control A to select everything, and then you can copy, which puts it in the clipboard, switch back to EzPerf, and then paste it into the clipboard, and it does its thing again. And similarly we can do the same thing with EasyImage. We could go back here and right click on it, and then select Open With, and select EasyImage, and there it is. Control A and then Control C, switch to EzPerf, and paste it in there. So as you can see, loading it into the standard side of EzPerf is not going to help you too much, because there's really no perfs and there's no way for it to go inside. So what we need to do is switch to the expert side by clicking on this icon here, and then I'm going to shut down temporarily some of the other things so we can see what's going on here. Alright, so now we have just EzPerf running, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this, and so when you switch to the expert side, this is normally what you're going to see. What you want to do is click on the tools icon, and then what we want to do is we want to create what's called a custom gauge. But first we have to go to the gauge utility, so click here, and then select the perf gauge that you want to display. For in this case, I know this stamp is a perf 22, so I'm going to set it at 22. I'm going to create the gauge, and then I'm going to save it. I click on this icon here, and then I save it. It already exists, so I'm going to overwrite it, and now I'm done. So now I have the ability to create my own gauges. If I click on custom gauge now, I open it, and there is my free floating gauge that I can use to measure any stamp. Now if you oops, didn't mean to do that. If you right click on this gauge, it gives you all sorts of hints as to how to use some of these features. And what we want to do is close that. And now I did a control and right click, and then I'm going to load an image from disk, and then I'm going to go to my pictures and load it. Okay, so now I have my image kind of free floating. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this gauge. Oops, I rotated the image, which is not what I wanted to do. Alright, so to measure this stamp, all you have to do is drag it over and place it on the perf tips. I like to use the valleys, and sure enough it lines up. If you want to rotate it, you do Shift X, and then you can measure the other side and make sure. And again, it lines up. So we can measure all four sides if we like. So that's a really, really useful way of measuring stamps that are on piece. Now, if you didn't know the gauge that you wanted to use, let me close that off here. You could use a standard gauge, and then you could have given it, a specific gauge. So let's say you thought it was a perf 14, and it'll put a perf 14 on there. Sometimes there's many different perforations out there, and we can't fit them all on this menu. So that's why there is a gauge utility that allows you to measure those stamps. So hopefully this has helped you. I'm going to switch back to expert or to standard mode, and then if you have any other questions about measuring measuring stamps on paper, let us know, and we'll be glad to help you. Alrighty, bye for now.